cut out the backs of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie with Brad and Angela. I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, that was one of the best scenes. And I know people usually don't like it. And depending on how dramatic it is, my biggest gripe with Mr. and Mrs. Smith is The Curse of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie, child. Okay, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the series. I know I'm behind, child. I don't be watching stuff when everybody else watching. I know probably nobody cares no more, but I just watched it, so I don't know why this week I didn't really watch the series. I don't watch Beef. I'm gonna do a video about Beef after. Although I watched Beef first, I'm gonna do a video about Beef too, because both of them are starring comedians, Childish Gambino and Ali Wong, so it still fits with the channel. So I'm gonna review Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the series. I'm gonna be all over the place with this, so just bear with me. So I'm gonna start with my biggest gripe about the whole series. And mind you, I like Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Brad and Angela. Like, that's one of my favorite movies. Like, I really do like the movie. Okay, so we're gonna start with my biggest gripe with this movie. Childish Gambino's character and Jane, the lady that played Jane. I'm gonna be calling her Jane, so I don't know her actual name. Jane and Childish Gambino. That's what I'm gonna be calling this video. Jane, who was the Asian woman, and then Childish Gambino, who played John. The first John number 1. So I might reference John number 1 and 2 in the video. We'll see. My biggest gripe with Mr. and Mrs. Smith was whatever. They literally had zero chemistry. I don't think I ever seen a movie where the two main leads that's supposed to be like in love and a couple had zero chemistry. Like, I kept like, maybe it'll pick up eventually, and it never picked up. Like, the only time they kind of showed a little bit of chemistry was at the end, when they were both on the True Serum and they were both lying on the ground. Like, even then, it was just a little bit. It wasn't like off the charts. It was like 5% out of 100. Then the other movie, it was like 0.5% out of 100 of chemistry throughout the whole movie. And to that point, then it was like 5%. And cut out the backs of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie with Brad and Angela, who both have just this have chemistry. Clearly, Brad left who he was with for Angelina. That's how much chemistry they had. Maybe Childish Gambino was like, because you know he was in charge of it, like the producer, director, whatever, creator. So he probably was like, look, child, we ain't gonna do a repeat, so I can't pick nobody that I got a lot of chemistry with, because we can't repeat what happened. The Curse of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the movie, child. You know, they got together after that movie, Angela and Brad, because their chemistry was so strong. It's just so he was like, man, I ain't gonna make that mistake. I think he got like a wife or a girl, baby mom, or something. So he's like, child, I ain't gonna make that same mistake. So yeah, I don't think I ever seen a movie where the chemistry was so zero. Like, even when they first met, like, you supposed to feel all these sparks and everything. I literally felt nothing. Even in Beef, like, I'm gonna get to Ali Wong and the other main character, I don't know his name, the dude from Walking Dead, I don't know his name, sorry. When they both like laid eyes on each other when they got to the house, you felt something. Like, oh, they might like each other. But with this, I literally felt nothing. Like, it was actually crazy. Like, I felt like no chemistry. And I feel like Childish Gambino, like, Brad and Angelina, see, I'm judging it based on that, maybe I shouldn't, but Brad and Angelina, like, both, you know, have this sensual sex appeal, for lack of a better word, I don't know a better word for it, but like this sex appeal. And I feel like Childish Gambino had it, like, in the series, like, most of the time he had it. Like, I would say 60% to 70%, I don't know why I'm using percentage, child. 60 to 70% of the time he had it. Like, you would see him, like, oh yeah, he got it in, especially like with his fits and stuff. Like, I think when they went to counseling for the first time, I think it was the first session, it could have been the second session, where he had on like the fitted jeans and he had the button up and it was open and it was tucked up. Like, yes, he's giving it. I think it was first. I might try to put a picture in, because I think it was the first session, but it could have been a second one. I was like, oh yeah, he giving it. Like, it was times the camera panned to him, I'm like, oh yeah, he giving it. The other times he wasn't, but it was very, like, most of the time he was. So majority of the time he was giving it. But his counterpart, it just wasn't any chemistry. Like, I don't know if he was the creator or writer or whatever, director of it. Why didn't he pick somebody that he had chemistry with? Literally, I know I was joking before about he didn't want to pick nobody with chemistry because Angelina and Brad, but seriously, why he didn't pick somebody he had chemistry with? Like, I know people, only other time I can think people say something about people have chemistry, which maybe I'm the only person who thought they didn't have chemistry, Miss Smith, but so I'm behind, I'm watching this way after, so I didn't like look at nothing. Why? Oh, the only time I seen somebody say that the two main characters gonna have chemistry was in that Kenyon Barris movie on Netflix on with Jonah Hill and Lauren with Eddie Murphy and Neil Long as her parents. I can't. You people? No wait. I don't know what it was called, but everybody said they didn't have chemistry. But even that, maybe they didn't have like romantic chemistry or like sexual chemistry, but they definitely had friendship chemistry. Like it was definitely a vibe. Like CHILDISH Gambino, I don't know what episodes this was. I watched them like in the span of 2 days. I don't know what the episode was, but that's why I tell you know when they're good. Because usually when something's so good, you just would have to watch it all at once. And I was like, I do half and half, or 60-40. But 60% watch, 60% don't watch 40. CHILDISH Gambino, with him and Bev, the woman that the wife thought he was cheating with, well, yes, he really was cheating, although it was a mission, quote unquote, a mission child. He was cheating jobs the whole month. When they stepped on scene, I felt that chemistry immediately. I was like, oh, yes, this is the vibe I wanted throughout the whole show. Like, the chemistry between both of them, like, in the jokes and stuff. I was like, oh, and just the whole vibe and how comfortable he felt. I guess maybe there was a point of the show for them not to be that connected. Or for her to be, like, because at the end they said she was a sociopath, so maybe that was the point of it, for her not to be connected. But just for watching it, just didn't feel good to watch. You want to watch somebody with two people with chemistry and two people that's, like, the chemistry is off the charts. And then, at the beginning they said she's manipulative when it was reading the questions on the screen. I was asking questions and they was answering it. Yeah, the chemistry between CHILDISH Gambino and Bev, like, that was good. And then I know people a lot of times, my favorite two scenes was the scene where they were both roasting each other by the fire. That was such a good scene. Like, it was so entertaining. Like, I should have been laughing, but I was like, ooh, two to the body, ooh, headshot. Like, they was really getting each other. They was really eating each other up. It was actually pretty funny. Like, in real life, it's not funny if a couple is really eating each other like that, like insulting each other like that. But for the movie, it was great, and I was enjoying it. I was like, ooh. Like, that was one of the best scenes. And then the scene where CHILDISH Gambino, him, and all the black dudes was playing cards. Like, I wish that the whole series had that type of feel. Like, it was moments here and there, but I wish it had that type of vibe, like, throughout the whole thing. Of course, I would have wanted a black lead. I would have liked to see a black Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I guess, it didn't too I feel comfortable watching the series. I don't really like watching series because they be getting canceled or don't be coming back. I don't like to get invested and then they cancel it, then too. It's like time consuming. But with this, I know with Beef and with this Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they might have another season, but it's not going to be the same character. So I can choose to watch it or not choose to watch it, or it's not going to be a continuation, so it don't matter. But it would have been nice to see a black Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but they probably already got the cast for Mrs. Smith next time. I don't know, I'll look it up, but it'd be nice if they had a black, maybe, since they ain't going to, I'm pretty sure they're not going to do a black couple. And CHILDISH Gambino, I think he's not with someone who's black. I think he's with a white lady, so I feel like he probably didn't want to cast a white lady, and he probably obviously didn't want a black lady because he wanted to show the different race dynamic. But I feel like he still could have showed that. Like, yes, he's a black American. He could have got like the Ethiopian woman or something. Yes, they're both still black, but he could have still been a little slight, like, different culture, like American and Ethiopian. Although still black, it still could have been a different type. Still could have been that same type of vibe. But I do get why he do it. As I was thinking about it, I was like, okay, well, he probably wanted to show, aspects of his relationship, because it was a race things in there why they didn't understand each other. So he probably wanted that in there to kind of mimic or mirror his own life, which I do understand. I'm gonna fast forward to the ending. I like a little open ending. I know people usually don't like it, and depending on how dramatic it is, the opening ending, like where you just see him on the ground in a panic room, sitting on the floor, wounded with a gunshot in like the stomach or the side, and then with her, she said she only had one bullet left, and she opened the pantry door, and the other Jane is sitting on the outside, and you see 3 shots, right? So it's like open-ended. Although you seen at the beginning that Mr. and Mrs. Smith clearly died, and I wonder, was it by the second Jane and the second Smith? Because remember they said they killed Smith, so I wonder, was it them? So I know people always complain, I kind of like open-ended. I kind of like to figure out what it means and be like, because you can also choose what you want to do in the second one. or not. Like, if it's not a second one, you can continue it if you want to. If it's not a second one, I feel like it was enough to decipher what happened. Like, but hey, for the second one, if they want to keep Childish Gambino, and so we can get some chemistry, bring Bev back, so he can say he survived, and then bring Bev back, and then they could have matched him. They'd be like, hey, if you don't keep doing this, we'll kill your mom or something, child. So it forced him to keep being a Mr. and Mrs. Smith with Bev, so we can see that chemistry, because like I said, that chemistry was good. And then, they can say, like, okay, it was 3 shots, she had 1 shot, so we can say the lady, the second Jane shot her, either shot her in the miss or shot her in the leg, something. Then she was able to shoot her in the chest. The first Jane was able to shoot her in the chest, and then she was lying on the floor, and then she shot Jane in the head or something. So both of them, then the second Jane ended up bleeding out, and then the dude that got shot in the eye bleeding out in the kitchen or wherever he was. And then Childish Gambino crawled out the panic room to wherever, and then they found him, and then him and Bev can be missing Miss Smith. Child, just a little plot, child, who knows, but okay, bye.